8 things I wish I knew when I started my fitness journey as a skinny girl. If you've been skinny your whole life like me, you probably secretly hate the fitness industry because all they focus on for women is teaching us to lose weight. But for us skinny girls, losing weight is literally the last thing we want to do. In fact, it's the complete opposite. So just like you, I was stuck trying to figure out how to gain healthy weight while building muscle without any real guidance. So I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to share with you 8 big mistakes I made so you don't have to. The lessons I learned the hard way, from why my body wasn't changing to the mindset shifts that completely transformed my results. And by the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge you need to achieve the body of your dreams. Comparing yourself to other girls without changing anything. I spent so much time comparing myself to other girls online, their bodies, their strength, their progress, and for the longest time, I wasn't actually doing anything about it. I'd scroll, compare, feel bad about myself, and then show up the next day doing the exact same things. Same habits, same effort, same patterns, and that cycle was exhausting. I'd rather be exhausted doing the actual work. Comparison without action is pointless. All it does is drain your confidence and make you feel like you're not good enough, even when you're actually trying. I wasn't using comparison to grow, I was using it to beat myself up. And that mindset kept me stuck for way longer than it should have. Everything changed once I stopped comparing emotionally and started learning instead. I stopped asking, why don't I look like that? And started asking, what are they doing differently? And more importantly, does that actually make sense for me? Once I shifted my mindset, comparison turned into information instead of insecurity. I also had to get really honest with myself about who I was learning from. I used to watch random girls all the time, and a huge portion of the content I was consuming was about weight loss and getting skinnier, when my goal was literally the opposite. I was trying to build muscle, gain strength, and grow my body, but I was learning from people on completely different journeys. Once I started following girls with similar body types, similar goals, and similar starting points, everything clicked. I stopped forcing strategies that weren't meant for me and started doing what actually worked for my body. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone's timeline is different. Your progress is not supposed to look like anyone else's. But if you're going to compare, use it as motivation, not self-criticism. For our second point, make sleep a priority. Sleep was something I completely underestimated when I started. I thought if I trained hard and ate pretty well, that was enough, but I was sleeping late, scrolling on my phone, waking up tired, and then wondering why my body felt sluggish and sore all the time. Here's the truth I wish I understood earlier. Sleep is when your body actually changes. You don't grow muscle in the gym, you grow it while you sleep. You are breaking down your muscles and working them when you are up and awake. Sleeping is when they actually get to rest and recover. Once I started prioritizing sleep, my recovery improved, my strength increased, and my mood was better overall. I stopped feeling constantly run down, and my workouts felt more productive instead of draining. As a skinny girl, trying to build muscle, sleep is not optional. If you're undersleeping, you're slowing your progress without realizing it. Getting enough rest helped regulate my appetite, improved my focus, and made consistency easier. And honestly, it was one of the most underrated changes I made. I set boundaries for myself to allow myself to get the full 7 to 9 hours sleep that's needed. So during the weekdays when I work and go to the gym, I am not outside wandering the streets or outside with friends unless it's a special occasion like a birthday or an event, but I'm not out past 10 p.m. I should be in bed by 11 p.m. On weekends, I give myself grace and allow that part of me to have fun when going out late night with my girls. For our third point, lifting heavy is not an enemy. I was terrified of lifting heavy when I started, so I stuck to light weights for way too long. And because of that, my progress was slow. I wasn't challenging my muscles and I wasn't giving my body a reason to change. Learning to lift heavier, gradually and safely, completely transformed my physique and strength. Lifting heavy gave my body shape. It gave me curves. It gave me that strong, toned look I was chasing for so long. Heavy doesn't mean reckless. It doesn't mean ego lifting. It means challenging yourself enough that your muscles actually have to adapt. The first time I realized I could lift heavier than I thought, it changed my confidence instantly. One day when I was at the gym, I realized that I did need to finally go heavier because I was doing the same weight for weeks without changing it and didn't know why. I knew after that I needed that little motivation to push me past my comfort level. So I went to Toronto with my best friend and I took this hinge lunge class, basically lower body workout. And I told the coach, his name is Eddie, that I wanted to be pushed more to see what I'm truly capable of. I never trap bar deadlift, and that night I did 165 pounds for 5 reps. That's when I knew I really wasn't pushing myself at all in the gym. I was beyond surprised with myself that I could even lift that weight at the time. Lifting heavy taught me that I'm capable of more than I think, and that mindset spilled into every area of my life. If you're scared of heavy weights, just know this: they're not the reason people get bulky. Consistency, nutrition, and genetics play a way bigger role. Heavy lifting is what helped me finally see results. For our fourth point, rest and recovery. At one point, I thought training more meant progressing faster. So I worked out constantly, barely took rest days, and ignored how tired my body felt. I thought my rest days were lazy, but eventually my body forced me to slow down. I felt exhausted, my life stalled, and that mind to muscle connection stopped. Rest and recovery are not a break from progress, they are progress. Your muscles break down during workouts. To be more specific, your muscle fibers are being torn down in the gym. The only way for them to heal, rebuild, and grow is when you rest and get proper nutrition. Once I started taking recovery seriously, my strength improved, my energy came back, and my workouts actually became better. Recovery doesn't just mean rest days, it means stretching, mobility, sleep, and listening to your body when it needs a break. Learning when to push and when to rest helped me avoid burnout and stay consistent long term. And that made a bigger difference than any extra workout ever did. You must give your body time to adjust and heal from the stress you place on it if you want to gain muscle. For our fifth point, tracking matters more than you think. For a long time, I didn't track anything. I didn't track my lifts, my food, or my progress. I'd go into workouts guessing weights, doing random reps, and hoping for the best. And surprise, my results were inconsistent. Once I started tracking, everything became clearer. I could see what was working, what wasn't, and where I needed to improve. I did also ask different trainers and watched a lot of YouTube videos to figure out what works best for me and my goals. Tracking doesn't mean obsession, it means awareness. Tracking my lifts helped me apply progressive overload. Tracking my food helped me realize when I wasn't eating enough, and tracking progress photos helped me see changes I couldn't notice day to day. As a skinny girl, tracking helped me stop underestimating what my body needed. It gave me structure instead of guesswork. For me, tracking wasn't about control, it was about clarity. It took the emotion out of the process and replaced it with data. Instead of feeling discouraged and thinking nothing's working, I could look back and say, okay, this needs adjusting, and keep moving forward. You don't need to track forever, but tracking teaches you what consistency actually looks like, and that knowledge is powerful. For our sixth point, stop chasing perfection. I used to think I needed the perfect plan, the perfect routine, the perfect diet, or else there was no point of even starting. If one thing was off, I tell myself I'll start again next week. And if you know me, you know I get called a perfectionist all the time. I like structure, I like control, I like knowing I'm doing things the right way, but that mindset honestly held me back for so long. Because the moment I couldn't do everything perfectly, I do nothing at all. One missed workout, one off-plan meal, one busy week, and suddenly I felt like I'd failed. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that all or nothing thinking was slowing my progress way more than any imperfect workout ever could. What I eventually learned is that progress didn't come from the perfection, it comes from showing up imperfectly, consistently, and over again. Once I let go of needing everything to be perfect, fitness finally became sustainable for me. I stopped quitting after one bad week. I stopped feeling guilty for missing a workout or not giving 100% every single session. Other days, you'll do the bare minimum and just show up. That still counts. Both of those days move you forward. The girls who actually get results aren't perfect, they're consistent. And learning that took so much pressure off me and allowed me to enjoy the process instead of constantly feeling like I was failing. When I first started training, I barely ate before workouts. Sometimes I'd go in a completely fasted, sometimes I'd have something tiny, and I thought that was normal. I didn't realize how much that was holding me back. I'd feel weak halfway through my workout, get dizzy, lose focus, and my lifts felt way harder than they should have. And instead of thinking, maybe I need more fuel, I just assumed I wasn't strong enough yet. Eating before training changed everything for me. Once I started having proper carbs and protein before workouts, my energy levels went up instantly. I could push harder, lift heavier, and actually get something out of my session. As a skinny girl, your body already doesn't have a lot of stored energy to pull from, so when you train without eating, you're basically asking your body to perform with nothing in the tank. Fueling my workouts helped me build muscle faster, improved my strength, and made training feel empowering instead of exhausting. And no, eating before training didn't make me gain unnecessary fat. It made me perform better, which led to better results. Eating after is just as important as well. Every muscle that we worked is now begging us for nutrients and protein to be consumed. You can be so consistent in the gym going 4 or 5 times a week, but what I learned is that if you don't feel your body after breaking it down, you will never see progress. So eating before and after is very important. For our 8th point, consistency over motivation. Motivation used to control my entire fitness journey. If I felt motivated, I trained. If I didn't, I didn't. Simple as that. And looking back, that's exactly what kept me stuck for so long. I wasn't inconsistent because I didn't care or wasn't capable. I was inconsistent because I was waiting to feel motivated before I showed up. I'd have phases where I was super excited, going to the gym all the time, eating well, doing everything right, and then the motivation would fade, life would get busy, or I'd have a few low energy days and I'd fall completely off. Everything changed once I committed to showing up no matter how I felt. Some days I felt strong and excited. Other days I showed up tired, unmotivated, and honestly just going through the motions. But I still showed up. Even when the weather was bad, I showed up. And that's when my body started to change, not overnight, but permanently. It meant staying in the game even when progress felt slow or invisible. The days I didn't feel like training ended up mattering just as much as the days I did. And that's something I really wish I understood earlier. If I could give one piece of advice to my younger self, it would be this. Stop waiting to feel ready, stop waiting to feel motivated, and just keep showing up. If you found this video valuable, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more fitness and health related content specifically for us skinny girls. Stay consistent, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next one.